Hello, I am going to demonstrate to you in this video how you can make a tangram. As you may know, a tangram is an ancient Chinese puzzle with 7 pieces that bear a certain relationship to each other and make a square. And you're going to use a piece of 8.5 by 11 paper and a pair of scissors, and you're going to make your own tangram set. Now the first thing you'll notice is that a piece of 8.5 by 11 paper is not a square rectangle, it's a long rectangle. So the first thing we have to do is make the square, and then we can make the rest of the tangram. So you take your paper and you take the short side and you fold it along the long side carefully. You want to be as accurate as possible. And then it looks like this. You have the triangle fold and then this little long skinny rectangle at the top, and you're going to cut off that long skinny rectangle. And we don't need that. That's not part of the tangram. We're just going to get rid of it. Then you have your square. And you've actually already done the first step of making the tangram, because the first step is to take a square and fold it in half and make 2 big triangles. We're going to cut across the fold we made and get 2 triangles. So you have 2 triangles. One of them we're going to set aside for the moment, and we're going to make the first 2 tangram pieces from 1 triangle. We fold it in half like this, so you have 2 more triangles. You've folded along the middle and the long side has been cut in half, and we're going to cut that apart. And we have 2 triangles. These are your first 2 of 7 tangram pieces, but we're done with them. So we're just going to put them down, and we're going to go back to the other triangle. You have this triangle, hold it up this way with the long side down, and you're going to take the point at the top and you're going to fold it very carefully down to the middle of the bottom, like this. And I'm going to put it down so I can make my fold. And when you're done, there's a big triangle folded down on top of a long trapezoid. Okay, we're going to cut off that triangle piece. So now this triangle that you just cut off, this is the 3rd of your 7 tangram pieces, and we're putting it in the pile. We're done with it. And now we have this long skinny trapezoid, and we're going to use this to make the last 4 tangram pieces. There's a lot of steps to it. First thing we're going to do is fold it in half along its long edge. So you get 2 pieces that are the same, or as close to the same as they can be from your cuts. And it's a sort of right, I guess you call this a right trapezoid. So you have 2 pieces like that. You fold it in the middle and you're going to cut it apart. And we still have to cut both of these pieces, but they're not going to be the same way, so you got to pay attention. I'm going to put one down for the moment because we're done with that. We're going to take this, we hold it again with the long flat side at the bottom. We take this corner that points out, we fold it very carefully across to this other corner like that. You fold it and you have a triangle, a right triangle on top of a square. See that? You have your right triangle on top of the square. Now you're going to take your scissors and you're going to cut that apart. So you have the right triangle and the square. Those are your two more of your tangram pieces. So we're up to 5 pieces. So we're going to put those down in the pile and we're done with them. And now we have the last fold, and this is always the hardest one. That's why I save it to the end. And now that I'm thinking about it, while I'm looking, I'm going to turn it around this way. So you still have the long part on the bottom, but instead of taking this corner that points out, sort of that I think of as the skinny corner like we did last time, we're going to take this corner down here, the edge of the long side, all the way over here, and we're going to fold it this time to the corner that's across from it. So it's from down here, and you're taking this corner, you're going to meet up with this corner. It should be on the other side. Take this corner, it's going to meet up with that corner, so it goes like this. Okay, so then you have another right triangle, but this time instead of being a right triangle on top of a square, it's a right triangle on top of a skinny parallelogram that is not a square. Okay, those are your pieces. You're going to cut here. And you've got your right triangle, you've got your skinny parallelogram that's not a square, and you've got all 7 of your pieces. So what you've got is you've got the skinny parallelogram and the square parallelogram. That's 2 quadrilaterals. And then you have 2 smaller triangles and 1 middle-sized triangle and 2 larger triangles, and those are the 7 pieces of your tangram. And we're going to give you a nice view of all of these pieces, and those 7 pieces can be made into a square and into all sorts of other interesting puzzles. And the fun of the tangram puzzles is there's so many things you can make, and they all use these same 7 pieces. And now that you know how to make it, you can make them whenever you want, and you can teach other people to make them, and you can have a lot of fun with tangram puzzles. Thanks.